Hello everyone. I think we're live, so welcome. If you're already in the live session, please say hello in the chat, it would be nice. But in the meantime, we're going to wait a little bit until everybody's here. Before actually we got started, maybe I can already introduce myself a little bit. I'm Rick, I'm Guild Lead Product at Rentman. My job is to help the product managers do the best they can and improve all the work they do. Welcome everyone. I hope everybody is actually in the live session right now, so we actually can get started. So thank you for joining. And this is the autumn version of our quarterly updates webinar. We're going to walk you through all the latest feature improvements and updates we've made for you in the last few months that you already have seen in your Rentman workspaces. And we're also going to take a look at what's coming up. And all these things have all to do with the processes in your system, and we're going to try to make them as efficient as possible. So that's what we're going to focus on today. So you actually have to reduce the amount of manual work, and you can actually focus on planning your events and productions. But first, let's start with a little bit of interactivity. And I want to ask you guys to pick your phones and scan the QR code you have on the screen right now. And let us know where you're joining from us today. And if you could also add a nice little emoji to show how the weather is, then we can also share that with us. If I look outside, we're in Utrecht in the Netherlands, and it's quite sunny, a little bit chilly, but it's nice. So let's see how you guys are, where you guys are coming from. Oh, cool, that's cool. I see from South Africa, nice and sunny. Also in Belgium, it's nice and sunny. Of course, in the Algarve in Portugal, it's sunny as well. In Estonia, it's apparently quite a little bit cold, but it's very hot in Qatar and in, I can see, oh, it's all jumping around. In Dallas, Texas, cool. Oh, wow, from all over the world. Very cool, thanks. Hello, Iowa, also hot in there. And a little bit rainy in Virginia, USA. That's nice, that's nice. All right, guys, cool. Thanks for sharing your answers, really nice. So let's move on now to the agenda. And I'm gonna be joined today by Sarah and Lode. They are the product managers at Rentman who work already here for several years. And they had a big part in shaping all the features that we're gonna be sharing with you today. So first, we're going to start with general improvements. They're going to be also about, that will be shared by Sarah, and she's going to talk to about screw scheduling improvements. Lode will also be sharing improvements to your workflows in the equipment tracking and in the quoting and invoicing products. And we're also going to get a sneak preview from him on upcoming features that we will be launching soon. So I'm very excited about that. I hope you guys are too. And last, the fourth item on the agenda is the Q&A session. So like every time, you can also drop in all your questions in the chat and let us know how, let us all know all your questions. We try to answer them. We have Matt and Simon joining us today to answer all your questions. And we'll reserve some time at the end to answer those questions live with you guys today, three of us. But yeah, feel free to share it and let's get started. First, I want to ask Sarah to join me, and she's going to talk all about the general improvements.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, as Rick mentioned, I'm one of the product managers at Rentman, and let's dive into those general improvements. The first thing that we want to show you is how we made some improvements for in the warehouse. So do you also work in a very noisy warehouse, a lot of sounds around you, and you don't always hear the beeps coming out of your Zebra scanner? We now made sure that you also get some haptic feedback from the Zebra scanner by vibrations. So it will tell you if some scanning was successful, if there was an error, and it will even tell you if there was an error that you can handle upon. So then it will give 2 long vibrations. Another cool equipment-related improvement that we did was making sure that you get an extended view of the equipment timelines in your project. So with this improvement, we made sure that you can see 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after the project, so you can make some smart planning choices in terms of availability of your equipment. And let's dive into this little demo to see how that actually looks like. So I'm going to open up one of my projects, this demo dance, and look into the equipment. I know here I have this lightning dimmer, and I would actually like to check it out before it goes on location. So let's see what happens. Here we have the new button that we created, show the timeline outside of the current project period, and it will tell me a bit what's happening with these dimmers before and after the project. I can extend it and it tell me what's happening, and I see that actually my original plan to check it out before we go on location will be a bit tricky. So that's good to know. Something that we can also do now is here change dates to get an even more extended view. So it will slide me back and forth in the timeline to just know like what's happening, can I make smarter choices, and is everything that I would like to do possible with my equipment. And next more crew-related improvement that we did is the project cancellations flow. So some feedback that we got from quite some customers is when you cancel one of your projects, there normally is this train of to-dos that rolls out of that you now have to do. And one of them, for example, canceling all the crew members that were actually scheduled on this project would be nice to have Rentman do for you. So we now made this pop-up that if you cancel a project, you get a choice what you want to do. It goes about the tasks, the crew members, the sub-runs. So you can also say, please cancel the sub-runs. And you can think what you want to have, yes or no, and make Rentman do it for you. We deliberately make this a choice for you because we also know that personal contact with your crew member is important. So if you don't want that, then don't click it. Before we go on to the next improvement, we have another Slido question, which is about the call sheets. What's your preferred approach for a call sheet? Digital, paper, mix of both, other methods? We would love to know how you currently work, so we can make sure that our Rentman workflows follow what you prefer. And I already see the first answers coming in. Digital, big digital, mix of both. Digital by mail. Extended call sheet digital, Rentman is missing this. Good feedback, thank you. WhatsApp, oh, that's a good one. Let's see what's happening more. Mixed thumbs up. Also, very good to see that the app is one of the answers, because that's what we strive for within Rentman as well, to make sure that our Rentman app is your digital call sheet. I see a few people typing still. Excel. Ah, that's an interesting one. I would love to see how your Excel looks like as a call sheet. Nice. Paper. Okay, I think most votes are in. Good to see that a lot of you are really leaning more towards digital. I think that's some cool improvements we can do on that part. So the improvements that we have already done on the call sheets is making sure that it's becoming easier or faster to create them. So what we wanted to make sure is that on all the places where you can send your crew planning, you can now also create a call sheet. So that also means from the visual crew planner, for example, and the crew scheduling tab. We also did this small improvement to make sure that you can indicate for the nodes within your project if they should show on the call sheet. So you can share all the information that you want from your project with the crew scheduled on the project. Then we now go on to the next subject, improving efficiencies in your existing workflows, for which I will present the crew part, and then Lode comes in and shows us a bit about equipment and the financials part. So for the crew scheduling, we already for this year talked a lot about seamless group communication with every interaction. And for the last few months, we've focused on the interaction around time registrations. One workflow that we hear a lot from our customers is when they work with time registration, they have this moment, like once a week, where there's one person who goes over all the time registrations of the week and checks if it follows reality. Did someone indeed work this amount of hours? And when that's done, they can check it off and it's ready to go into the payrolling system. But so far, Rentman did not really had a nice way of doing this workflow. So that's something that we've been focusing on by making sure you can approve your time registrations and you can also get an easier overview whether some time registrations maybe need a little bit of extra thought on it. And I'm going to show you how we managed to do that. So one thing that's quite important is if you have this workflow in which you check your time registrations, you first need to go into your configurations model and turn it on. So in the time registration leave page, you have these hour types. You need to make sure that the worked hour type requires approval. So you can double click on it, and indicate that it requires approval. A second thing that we added here is minimum paid hours per registration. This is something that's used by some of the companies that we've talked to before. Like some companies say, you always get at least 3 hours paid even if you work less. If that's the case for you, it would be nice to fill it out so you get the signal if someone registered hours for less and you know you have to change it or track it back somewhere in your payrolling. Okay, if you've got this required approval on yes, you can go into your time registrations model, and from that moment on, all the new created time registrations will have the pending status on default. So you here already see I've got some of this month still on pending. You can also filter on it. I created my own pending view to check it out. And from this place, there are several ways to go over these time registrations. The first one is to just simply check out the details. This details bar was already there, but now we added the option to approve a time registration from here. What we also added in this details bar is a small history section, so you know when it was approved or if someone changed still. A second option is if you select it, you can also approve it from here. So if there's a lot that you already know that was good and you can approve it. And the last one is if you open it up, you go into our approve and next workflow. So what we heard from quite some customers is that they said, I still need to check or change stuff in the time registrations. We now made it easier by this workflow. So you open it up. Here you can change what needs to be changed. So maybe you want to make sure that everybody had the same travel time or the same break time. You can approve it from here and then go on to the next one instead of closing it and opening up the next one. So it will save you quite some clicks to go through this flow. A cool improvement that we did within this feature is making sure that you have this approval check column. It will give you an indication if this time registration might be slightly different than you expected it to be. So what we did is these icons. The first one is giving you an indication if the hours that are registered on the time registration were the same as the hours that were scheduled for the function that they were planned on. The second one will give you an indication if several people worked on the same function, if their time registrations were aligned. So it will turn up red if there's bigger than 30 minutes difference between these time registrations, for example. Then we have one that will say if there was a scheduled activity in a time registration or if they created an empty one or maybe a manual activity in the time registration. And this last one is that clock icon that I talked about before that you can set in your configuration module if there's a minimum amount of hours that you always pay when someone shows up. Then I think we showed all about the approving time registrations, and it's ready to talk a bit about equipment tracking, for which I want to invite Lode.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. Cool. So let's talk a bit about the equipment tracking within Rentman. And the ones who have joined previous webinars as well, they know that we actually focused this year on really solving these advanced inventory challenges this year in Rentman for you. One of these things I will briefly touch upon in this webinar, which is the mobile scan return. But before we go there, I'm super curious to know what was the biggest project you have worked on in the past summer. So that can be either like a big name that you've worked for, maybe like the number of days, maybe like a big show just came back to your warehouse, maybe you used a lot of equipment, maybe you even have like the heaviest project in terms of packing kilos or whatever. I'm curious, what's the biggest project you've worked on? Tomorrowland, amazing, cool. That's yeah, that's a big one. Okay, Ultra Miami, G7 Summit, I see. Those are some very cool projects. Paris Air Show, 100 crew members, I feel like, I see. DEFCON, cool, summer vacation, someone, no jobs. Some other company as well working for Tomorrowland, so maybe a combined effort. The Open, something for Bacardi. Lowlands, yeah. I see a couple of festivals in Belgium and in the Netherlands. Lowlands is also super big here in the Netherlands. Transport by helicopter at Swiss, that's cool. I see a project for the Dutch police. Some cool weddings in Venice. I know that a CEO from Amazon had a wedding in Venice, I think. Primavera Sound, cool. That's so nice to see all these projects coming in. Actually, that's truly inspiring. Something in Doha, nice, amazing, cool. Okay, so let's get started because I think for most of you guys the high season has just passed, and I think that a lot of you guys probably recognize this scenario, right, where one or two of your trucks come in from multiple projects at the same time, and all the equipment is coming back to your warehouse in one point. So there is a big chaos because everything is on one big pile, and you have to start scanning your items return. But here's where like some frustrating problems are really, where a lot of people got frustrating problems. The first of which is that you don't really know what you were scanning return, like from what project. So let's say you were scanning return a wedding project, but then at the same time something came back from the Tomorrowland project with the CDJ 3000. But if you tried to scan the return on the wedding project, Rentman gave you an error saying that this item wasn't scheduled for the project. A second problem was experienced by most of our warehouse users, like multiple warehouse users, where the project came back to a different warehouse than it was booked out from. So let's say you had a big tour, a long tour, and then for logistical reasons, it comes back to your main warehouse instead of your secondary warehouse where it was originally booked out from. And previously you had to set all those items aside, walk to your computer, change the stock location of those. And yeah, that resulted in a lot of manual work actually. The last issue is that with returning your combinations, it could be tricky that if a combination was incomplete, to literally fill it with stock from your warehouse shelves. So you had a combination, maybe a lamp or a cable was missing, and you're already filling it up because you're in that process. You want to walk to your warehouse shelf and get one from there to fill your combination again, but this was not possible because this lamp or whatever wasn't scheduled on that specific project. So that was also a bit of a burden sometimes. So I'm super happy actually to talk about this mobile scan return, where we make a faster and more intuitive and more flexible way to return your items from basically any project. We've prepared a little demo actually for you, which we will show in a bit. And the nice part is that you can also use this both on your Zebra scanner. That's what we use in a demo, and you can also just use your regular phone for this mobile scan return. Let's go to the demo and it works. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a little demo for the mobile scan return. We have our little warehouse here with different projects coming back. Let's just scan to see what's happening. I open the scan return in the mobile app. And start scanning. As you can see, this LED with serial number here came back from the Janet and James, and we can put it back to our warehouse shelf here on the side. Here's another item I scan. You see, and this is really powerful because here I scan a different project, but it's also returned from that project. And we can put it on our shelf again. Here's more items here. And here you see that this was the last item scanned for the Janet and James project. And we can book it return. And again, you see the serial number. So we've also processed this one. You can also scan return bulk items like these power strips. I see there were 3 in here. So I bring them back to my warehouse shelves, put them in, and scan the QR code that's on my shelf. Here I can enter 3 because I packed 3, and I decide that they come back from the Yesterdayland Summer Edition. Book return. Then there is one more item here, and it says that the item has been transferred from the Amsterdam warehouse. This is super powerful because this item came from the Amsterdam warehouse apparently, but accidentally ended up here. It's now here in our Utrecht warehouse, so with one scan we did a stock location change, which automatically updated our stock location. And lastly, we have this flight case coming back, so let's just scan it to see what's happening. We can start our check and refill process, which basically means that we empty the combination and start to refilling the content as well. So I press check and refill. I open the combination to see what's inside. And on the mobile app, I see that there should be 4 compact LEDs inside and 4 Shuko cables. So let's scan to see what's inside. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. There is a 5th one inside because, yeah, this happens, of course. I'm going to put it on the side and scan it later because in this combination there usually should be 4, as you can see on my phone. There's 1 Shuko cable, 2 Shuko cables. So I fill in a quantity of 2. And I see that there are 2 other cables missing. So I go to my warehouse shelf and put 1 back, 2 back, fill in 2, but they come from my warehouse stock. So here I select my warehouse stock because they weren't from the project. They're probably lost. The combination is complete and I press seal. Put my lamps back inside to make it complete. 3 and 4. I close the combination so it can go back to my warehouse shelf. I still have this other lamp that was too much in this flight case. I do want to book it back, but it goes in a separate shelf in my warehouse. Because I had 2 missings, I can now go to the project of Yesterdayland and see what's still left. I mark all the other items as lost, and I can decide to charge the costs to the customer, of course, but in this case I will not do that. And as you can see, all the items here are returned. Okay, so that's how you do the scan return with booking back multiple projects at the same time, transferring your equipment and refilling your combinations. Let's go back to the regular webinar again. Okay, cool. So I hope that was insightful for you guys and that you now know how to exactly work with the scan return. As a short recap, why you could use it, it's because it's fast and forgiving. You could just scan anything, return, and Rentman does the heavy lifting for you. So you can, it decides on the right project, and if it's case, if it's a bulk item, it will ask you from what project you want to return it from, or whether it's from a different warehouse maybe. It also makes scanning return the combinations a breeze. You can just grab anything from your warehouse shelf and book it in your combination. And I think it's really beneficial for the people with multiple warehousing, where you can just scan something, return, and then straight away it will also update the stock location of that equipment item if that's necessary. So let's talk a bit about the quoting and invoicing part. So let's move from the warehouse to the office actually. And one of the focus of the financial team here at Rentman is to A, the selling a job part, to B, getting money in, and C, it's actually making a profit. And that's why this making a profit, that's really focused on the budgeting and the purchase order side of stuff, of things. And that's what we've been focusing on earlier on this year. Before we dive into the topics, let's again do a short Slido. And I'm super curious, on average, how many times do you guys engage with a customer after sending a quote and before they accept it? So how many touch points do you have? Is that normally 1? Is that 2 or 3 touch points? 4 to 6, 7 to 9, or maybe even 10 or more? So how often is it like, do you have contact with your clients before they finally accept a quote? I see, I get 1-1. That's good. So that's a very good conversion if you just send out the quote and they accept it straight away. I see also some people having at least 10 or more touch points, but I also see that 2 to 3 touch points and 4 to 6 is voted for the most. So that's just like 4 to 6 times or 2 to 3 times calling with your customers, sending them an email, and communicating back and forth. Yeah, so 2 to 3, 4 to 6. I see one more coming in for 10 plus. Yeah, okay, no people 7 to 9 though, so it's either 2 to 6 or 10 plus. Okay, that's interesting data for us. Cool, nice. So I already spoke about that earlier this year. We launched this purchase order module in Rentman, and I really think that the feedback has been amazing. We already see that many of you guys create project-related purchase orders, so they use it for sub-renting or for your additional costs. And it's really amazing to see that you guys use this purchase order module. But the feedback has also been super clear to us, because you say business just goes beyond these projects, right? So what if I need to buy new equipment for my crew members? So maybe he needs a new laptop, or what if I need to buy new shelving for my warehouse? Those are real issues that you guys currently run into. And previously you had to put these non-project related costs into a separate system, and you have to constantly update in 2 places, or use both Rentman for your purchase orders as well as another software package for your purchase orders, which was very prone to error. And this was actually the single most requested feature after we launched purchase order. Everyone said, like, we need to be able to just specify anything in our purchase order instead of just only the sub-rents or the additional costs. So we heard you loud and clear, and at Rentman we want to be your single source of truth. So that's why I'm super happy to announce that we have this non-project related costs that you can now add to your purchase orders. I will go to the laptop here on the side to show how it exactly looks like. So right now in the financial module, underneath purchase orders, there is now the add purchase order button in the top right corner, because you can now create anything for this purchase order. I need to add a supplier. And in costs, I can now add a general cost, webinar, camera, and I can specify a quantity and confirm. And basically you just follow exactly the same flow as you're used to. So you can either self-approve if you have the rights, or you can request approval to a superior in case you need to do that. So with this purchase order update, we move to a much more complete solution for you guys. But this is also not where we stop with purchase orders, because we want to continue building on this foundation that we just have built. So that's why I'm super excited actually to talk about the next step this season. And to start with, I'm very proud to say that we have actually started the development of the labor purchase orders, or also called the crew purchase orders. And it's super nice because we saw that after the non-project related POs, this was basically the thing that you guys said, like, okay, this is super important for us. So I'm super happy to say that we started with this. And I mean, I understand why, because hiring a freelancer, it's more than just scheduling them on a Rentman project, right? This PO, you often need like a legally binding agreement with them, and it's very much industry practice to send out this PO to them. And previously that has to happen outside of Rentman, but we want to be the single source of truth and combine everything together for your PO solution. And on this PO, you should specify the day rate and maybe other costs and the payment terms. Those are all details that you need to add to this purchase order. And a lot of time freelancers, they don't even act upon anything if they don't have a PO reference that you can refer to. So I cannot unfortunately show you anything in the software yet because it's currently in development, but you will be able to go to the crew scheduling tab in the end, select the crew members that you've scheduled there, and either one by one or add multiple, or select multiple at the same time and create individual POs for each and every of those crew members. And of course, it's not only about the function itself that you need a PO for. You can also add other additional costs to those purchase orders, which basically means that you can connect like an additional cost to a crew member, so you can specify whether they're allowed to spend more money on lunches or hotel stays or anything else. So you can really have like one complete purchase order that you can send to your crew members. The big question is, of course, when is this going to be live? That's difficult to say right now, but we are currently in active development, and it's the main focus of one of our development teams. But before we release it, we want to make sure that we actually double down on everything, and that we make sure that it's absolutely right before we release to the big crowd. So I'd say keep a close eye out on our channels, but it's currently in development, so that's very exciting actually. And then the last thing, we spoke a lot about controlling your expenses and this purchase order solution. But maybe we should switch gears a bit and look at the other side of the coin, and which is also an interesting part. It's about winning businesses and actually having this customer contact, right? From the question in the slide that we had before. And I think we can all relate with this one, because imagine you schedule a project, you schedule your crew or functions, your equipment, you spend a lot of time in your quote, you download it, you attach it to an email, you send it, and then you basically have to wait. It feels like you send all your hard work into this black hole, and you have no idea what's going to happen with it. And I feel like this creates a couple of problems that we hear about all the time. Is basically this first problem is that there is no really any visibility. So you're really left guessing, like, okay, did my client open the quote? Did they view the quote? Are they still interested? Should I follow up now, or am I maybe just being annoying? You're really flying blind basically, and this makes your entire sales process very reactive, while sometimes you might also want to be proactive. And another issue was that there's often multiple people in an organization who need to approve this quote or need to view this quote. So you have this PDF that is sent via email, and that is then sent to other people in the company, and before you know it, you end up in this super long thread or email conversation. And let alone if you add a new version to that, when people are cross-referencing different versions and you don't really know about what version you're talking about anymore. And this back and forward communication, that takes a lot of time and maybe can even lead to a deal not being sealed actually. So those are very important problems that you guys are currently running into, what we've heard. And at Rentman, we really want to be this single source of communication. That also means like between you and your clients. So that's why I'm super excited to talk about this whole new quoting experience, and we call it the online quoting page. And this is really designed to give more insights into this quoting experience and smoothen out the communication between you and your customer. So how exactly will this then work in the future? you can just create your quote like you're currently used to. So you generate your quote with the same document templates, but then you can decide to actually publish your quote to this online portal. And it's protected with a password, and there is a link, and you can share this password and link with your customer. Your customer can then open this quote, and you get a notification as soon as they have opened and viewed the quote, so you can decide on how to communicate afterwards with them. So you can see how many times they viewed the quote, when they viewed the quote, and then you can decide to follow up or not. And for your clients, it's also super useful because they see this personalized quoting page with a welcome message. They see the quote totals. They see who their account manager is. They see like media and pictures and videos to make it a bit more alive and set a certain atmosphere for your quote. And if they want to look into the details, they can still access the PDF from there and look what exact equipment you've scheduled on this quote, for example. Your customers can then also directly request a change on that specific quote, and then you can view the change that they've requested. You can adjust your quote accordingly, and then publish just changes again to this same link, meaning that the communication is all in one central place, and you can really see the versions of the quote building up. So I think that's super interesting, and will definitely help a lot of you guys. So this new quoting platform, it really gives you more insights into client behavior, so you can see when they viewed it and how often they viewed it. It really differentiates you from the competitors because it's a super fast and professional workflow, and it's easy to approve and share this link for your clients as well. And it really simplifies your quote revisions, right? So they request some changes, you update your quote, publish it again to the portal where they can see the new version. So I think this will definitely smoothen out your quoting experience with your customer and make the entire process more proactive instead of reactive. And I know I know many ways to enrich this platform as well, but I'm already super excited to see you guys working with this new part. And I can't wait to see the feedback coming in because it's super exciting. It will be released somewhere next month, so definitely keep an eye out on our channels to see when you guys can start using this. Cool. So that was my part. Let's ask Rick and Sarah over for the Q&A session.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Really, thank you, Lode and Sarah, for all these really cool improvements. I really believe that with these things, we can actually really improve your efficiency in a lot of the workflows all around Rentman. Please check them out in your workspace and let us know what you think. Yeah, so now it's time for a Q&A session. So I've been looking at the chat in the meantime, and we've selected some questions that we will be handling right now. So yeah, let's jump in. The first question is from Dan. I would like to have a better overview of the communication with my crew. What are your tips on this? I think this one is suitable for you, Sarah. Can you maybe answer this one, please?
Yes, because we also think there should be a better overview of your communication with your crew. So that's one of the projects that we actually have been working on. And it's not done yet, that's why we didn't present it in this webinar, but it will be done very soon. So somewhere in the upcoming few weeks, we will give you an extended version of how the messages module looks like. That will give you the option to filter out and check what has been sent to your crew back and forth. It in general will give you some overview about messages sent from Rentman, but it will also solve your problem.
Oh, cool. Well, check it out, Dan. Then I have an anonymous question. Can I sync the purchase orders to QuickBooks? And would it be slotted under bills? Lode, maybe?
Okay,
yours?
Yeah, good question. I think to shortly touch upon this, no, it's not yet possible to sync your purchase order to QuickBooks. In the past few months, we've sent out a couple of questionnaires and surveys, and we saw that the non-project related purchase orders, as well as the labor purchase orders or for purchase orders for your crew members, were voted as most important. So we decided to first focus on those parts of the software. But we also know and we are aware that connecting your purchase orders to QuickBooks is also something that you guys really need. So really looking into ways to do this. But for now, first, the labor purchase orders are, it's their turn first.
Yeah, and I think we're definitely going to look into this in the next quarter. So yeah, keep an eye out. Then the third question from Andrew. Please support landscape page orientations for call sheets. Maybe I can actually show this, how to do this, because it's already possible. Hopefully my computer is on the screen right now. And if you go, you would say to document templates, but it's actually a letterhead. So if you add new letterhead, landscape, and instead of 21 page width, we go for a 30 page width and a 21 centimeters page height. Save this. And if you then go to a call sheet, let's duplicate this one and choose the landscape mode, you can actually here build up the template in landscape mode. So it's actually already possible. You just need a little bit know how to. But hopefully that answers your question, Andrew. And yeah, let's move on to the fourth question in this case from Luc. How will the mobile scan return know which projects my bulk items are coming from?
Yeah, okay, good question. There are several ways that your scan return knows where your bulk item is coming back from. First of all, if you scan your first bulk item, let's say it's the first one in this session, you scan the bulk item and then it shows you a list of all the projects that currently this bulk item is out on. So let's say you have an XLR cable and it's currently out on 5 projects. It will show the 5 projects in the list. But what the nice part is that it will also remember the projects that you have selected in that certain session. So let's say you first scan the serial number. Because it's serialized, we already know from what specific project it came back from. And let's say you scan after that a XLR cable, then it will already say like, hey, this XLR cable is also out on a project that you already scanned an item returned from in this session. And then you can select with that one as it's at the top of your list. So that makes it a bit smarter to not have to look through all projects in the list, but just look at the ones that are already scanned back in the scan return session.
Right, cool. Then for Michael, would you also like to see? We would like to also see a web page for a project that updates in real time. Not everyone has a Rentman account, especially people hired through labor companies. Sarah, is that one you can answer?
Yeah, I think I have some ideas on it, because in general, as you maybe got a hint of by the Slido question, how would you prefer your call sheets? We are looking into the call sheets, and we, in general, as Rentman, advise to use our app, but having something like a web page or maybe some other way to share your project with the crew is indeed a thing that we're looking into.
Yeah, so please let us know how you would like to see this, and I think we'll definitely reach out to you guys to get some more information when we're actually working on it a bit more. So cool, thanks, Michael. Then from Ilke, does scan return scan product to return or to another status or next status? Lode.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, as the name implies, it now scans literally items to the status returned. We also know that a lot of you guys work with custom statuses, so maybe you have something that is that you need to clean first or to check. That's also possible, yeah, in the warehouse statuses, of course. In the current version of scan return, it's not possible to scan back to one of those statuses. It will always scan the items to returned, because there's also this stock location change, for example, connected to it. So right now that's not possible yet, but if this is something that you guys want, and if you say like, okay, I want to decide to what status I want to scan my items next, then please let us know. You can go, for example, to the public roadmap that we have, and you can leave your feedback right there. Then it also ends up at the product team.
Yeah. Also, if you in the top of your screen under the question mark icon, there's also a way to leave feedback. So please keep on doing that. We read everything. I promise, for sure. Then from Miriam, I struggle a lot with files in my project. Are you planning on doing something about structuring your files soon? Sarah, maybe you can answer this one?
Yeah, that's a good one, because we actually are planning on doing something about that. It's even almost done, so expect some cool changes in the upcoming weeks, but we are planning to make sure that you can have folders in your file structure for actually all places where we have this files widget. We will have even automated folders created for your sub-projects. So yeah, you will for sure will see that soon if you work with sub-project, because they will be there.
Cool, cool. Very nice. Looking forward to that. Then from Gustav, any updates on the long-awaited rollover function for equipment rentals between events and bypassing the warehouse? Yes, we have some updates on that. It's still work in progress. We're actually planning on this really soon, but first we need to do some groundwork for this, because as you know, right now, the times of equipment, so when equipment is being reserved, is attached to the equipment groups. But that's something that will actually block this rollover function, because not all equipment in the same equipment group might roll over. So to make sure that the reservations are actually nice and tight between those rollover projects, we need to do some groundwork first. And that's what we're currently doing. Unfortunately, you won't see this in the software, but it's actually more technical work. But after this is done, we're gonna definitely look into how we're gonna make this rollover function there. Unfortunately, it's gonna still take a while, and I really cannot say just yet when. That's unfortunately always the case with development, but we will let you soon enough when we have more information about this. Then from Wim, hey guys, I read in one of your last emails that you're planning on planning PEPL integrations. Awesome news. How's the roadmap on this? I also can answer on this one. Yeah, we know that in Belgium it's going to be required as of next year to send your invoices via the online PEPL network. It's obligated, so we are aware and we're working on this. So we're definitely going to build on this in this quarter, and we have a very strong deadline to launch this for the end of the year. So keep an eye out, and yeah, more information soon, I promise. Then from Dennis, can I change the scanning sounds in the warehouse?
Yeah, good question. Nice question, Dennis. I actually did a bunch of research on different scanning sounds in the warehouse. So I'm happy to see that this question is popping up. The short answer, unfortunately, is currently it's not possible to change your warehouse sounds. Like Sarah already told before, we did add the different vibrations. So if the scanning sounds are not clear enough for you, then you can also turn on these vibrations to make sure that it's that you get more feedback than just auditory feedback. There is a lot to these scanning sounds, of course, because you can convey all kinds of different information in such a sound, and sometimes the sound for RFID scanning is different than sound for QR code scanning. So right now it's not possible to change these different sounds, but yeah, let me know if you want to brainstorm about this, because I'm super curious what you want to change in the current sounds and how you think those can be improved.
Yeah, fun fact, it was actually the thesis of Lode that actually about the research, and I know he did a lot of, I spent a lot of time in warehouses checking the noise levels and everything, so I'm quite sure, yeah, our current set is actually it works in a lot of places, but yeah, let us know, Dennis. Then from Jasper, hi, could it be possible to delete purchase orders? For example, if you made an accident. Now it's only possible to cancel it. Yes, that's true. It is actually not possible right now to delete purchase orders. Based on the interviews that we did with all the customers before we started the purchase order development, we asked the customers, would you like to delete this? And a lot of them were very weary about this because it's an administrative thing. So we decided not to make this possible based on that feedback. But hey, if there's like a lot of people out there that actually says, please make it possible to delete it, we can obviously have a look at this and maybe put it in a user role permission or something like this. But yeah, let us know and we'll look into it.
Yeah, in the end, I think you can cancel it and maybe also assign tags to it or stuff like that. That also helps to differentiate between maybe some mistakes that you made or whether it's actually cancelled.
Yeah, but then also, yeah, it's not really in the way. So if it's cancelled, it's not being counted anywhere. So yeah, it should not bother you, hopefully. Looking at the time, I think we still have some time for some questions. Yeah, so we're gonna do 1 or 2 more questions. Let's have a look. A question from Andrew: is this being recorded, and can the link to the recording be sent after this concludes? Yes, we will. Very short answer. We can do a couple of more, maybe, if that's that short. Yeah, we're gonna email them, after the webinar.
It will also be available on YouTube, so you can also watch it back in your own time again.
Yeah, keep an eye. Where can I get one of those sweet Rentman shirts?
Classic.
Ooh. You can email chloe@rentman.nl and maybe a nice care package would go your way. You never know.
I still see a question from Julian all the way at the top. Is there an advantage for using the regular return flow over the mobile scan return flow? So basically, when should I still use the workflow that was currently already there? I think that's still a good workflow to use if there is, for example, just one project coming back to your warehouse. Sometimes it's not as busy as during high season, of course. And maybe there is a customer coming back to your shop or to your warehouse and just tells you like, hey, here's all my equipment again. Then you have the full list, of course, of equipment. You can quickly start scanning. So maybe he has 5 or 10 items that he rented out. And then you can immediately see like, hey, this item is not there yet. And you can ask the customer, whether what happened or contact him directly. So I feel like if it's still only one project, then of course you can still use the regular flow. But I will definitely recommend you guys to go check out the mobile scan return, because in a lot of cases that is actually more beneficial to use compared to the regular flow. Yeah.
And I think let's do the last question from Michael. Just popping in, I see. How does scan return on desktop compare to scan return on mobile? Is there feature parity or are they different? I know they're different. We're looking into seeing in the future if we're gonna make them the same, but right now they're not. So I think maybe Lode, you can talk a bit more about specifics.
No, yeah. So in the mobile scan return, it's easier to fill these combinations again. So then you can basically literally walk through your warehouse shelf and fill your combinations with items that weren't scheduled on those projects, and that's still something that is lacking in the desktop version. So go try it out, and if the mobile version, if you prefer to work with the desktop, let us know, and then we can see also whether this is important for us. If a lot of people say like, oh, we really love the mobile scan return, please make sure that it's exactly the same as on the desktop version. Then leave us some feedback, and then we know that's important to you guys.
Yeah. I think to add that, I think we really focused first on the scanning and experience, and so we focused a lot first on the mobile version, and we would like to launch this as soon as possible. So we decided to launch it only for the app first, and then let us know if you would like also the desktop version. And I think with this, we're gonna end the webinar. I really would like to thank you for joining, and that's all. Yeah, I think it's super nice, all the questions, and if you have some more questions, you always are welcome to email us at rentman@support.nl or .io.
Rentman.nl.
Thank you, Lode. Or visit our sports center, of course. We are always very happy to help, and and also stay connected using our social media channels or subscribe for more regular updates. And last but not least, please also check out our referral program. More details about this on the website. So if you have if you have a colleague that doesn't use Rentman or a friend, you can make both a little bit of money by sharing Rentman to them. So check it out. Well, again, thanks. Thanks for joining, and hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.